Good evening and welcome to the Formula Racing League. It's time for some F2 action here at Albert Park in Melbourne, Australia. Round 5 of this championship. We just wait for the cars to begin their one-shot qualifying. They will all set their times, or set their laps, all at the same time as each other. Before we go into a 17-lap feature race, followed by a If you have just joined us, we do welcome you. Do feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. And so we begin the session. I think Argent deciding to not set a lap time, so we'll go to Dixon. He'll be one of those going for pole position. Breaking into turn 3, no problem there. Now these are still running the F2 2020 liveries. The 2021 liveries will be released in November, coinciding with the release of the Jeddah circuit in Saudi Arabia. We've already had Portimao being released on Monday. Imola is set to be released in October, and Jeddah in November, along with the F2 2021 machines. So Dixon through turn 13. He makes his way through turn 14 as well. Arjun, Rosie, Melios and Liverpool fan are not going to be setting lap times. So the drivers will be making their way around turns 15 and 16. Rear wing open on Dixon's ART, and he'll cross over the line to take pole position for the feature race here in Australia. Green Pies nearly 0.4 of a second adrift in second place. For your information, there are 16 drivers involved in tonight's event. So Dixon qualifies on pole with Green Pies alongside him. Dixon also getting 4 championship points. Hungary and Pimis will line up next to each other on row 2, with Marcel and Hartwell on the 3rd row, followed by Bowie and Robin on row 4. Well Dog and Vintage running out the top 10. Tomo and Swanshanks running out those who have set lap times. Arjun, Rosie, Melios and Liverpool fan will be starting at the back, as they did not set lap times at all. So in regards to the calendar for this season, we are at Australia now for round 5. Afterwards we go to Mexico City and then Silverstone, China on the 6th of October, and the 13th of October is expected to be Portimao. The week after that should be Imola. And I think there's going to be a reschedule of the deal, because the 27th of October is scheduled to be a DLC track. But that will be replaced by one of the existing circuits. Or they could just move Singapore to that date and end the season there. That would make up an 11-round season and 22 races in all. In regards to the Drivers' Championship, Argent has a 35-point lead. Well, he had a 35-point lead going into the round. Ahead of Rosie, then it's Jackson in 3rd place on 121 and Winfield in 4th on 117, Green Pies in 5th on 105, and Swanshanks in 6th on 100. The point system works out differently in the Formula Racing League to what it is in real life F2. The top 15 score points in both the feature and the sprint races. 40 points for the winner in the feature, 32 for second, 26 for third, and in the sprint it's 30 points for a win, 24 for second, and 19 for third. Both races, of course, have 2 championship points on offer for the driver within the top 10, picking up the fastest lap. So, underway for the formation lap, just the one driver on the alternate strategy, that is Rosie. She'll start the race on the mediums. The others are on the super soft purple side marked tyre. So we've got 16 in tonight. That's more than we had last week. We had 12 last week. We are hopeful that all the drivers will do both the feature and sprint races. Otherwise, words will be going out to the server in regards to attendance and just leaving the cars to be controlled by the AI. So Dixon making his way through turn 11 and 12. A very tricky part of the racetrack here in Melbourne. Can he get off the line? Well, he's only competed in one round so far. The driver who won last season's F2 championship. He's got 4 championship points tonight already, so we're hoping to enhance that total by the end of the feature race. Now, Green Pies, who won one of the races in Monaco last week, he won the sprints. Rosie won the feature. Now, Arjun, who's starting at the back of the grid, well, 13th place that is. Rosie has an opportunity to try and claw down that gap before Arjun pulls further off into the distance. Well, the cars are coming back onto the grid now. As he waits for all those to slot into position. And we'll get this race underway any moment now. So 16 drivers on the grid then here at Albert Park. Who's going to come away with the first win of tonight? Dixon on pole. The 5 red lights appear in front of the drivers. It's lights out and away we go for the feature race. Dixon gets off the line, as does Green Pies. I think Green Pies' start was slightly better than the ART, and he's going to go to the inside and leads into turn 1. Does he? No, he doesn't. Dixon gets back round the outside and he goes through into the race lead, but Green Pies is going to go side by side. There's a spinner in the background. Someone is off. Hungary's out of the race already. The cars are coming towards turn 3. The Dams is into the lead ahead of the ART, and now we've got a virtual safety car. I think Marcel overtook Hartnell actually under that VRC, and now we've got a safety car. So Hungary was the driver eliminated in the high-tech. I'm not sure who tipped him round there. That was someone behind the leaders. Marcel's picked up a time penalty as well for a collision with Dixon, so he'll have to take that when the safety car does go back in. Remember, it is a mandatory pit stop race. They can only take that mandatory pit stop from lap 3 or later. They can't do it in the first 2 laps. There's no doubt there's going to be some drivers ducking into the pits. I wonder if Bowie's got damage, because he's right at the back of the melee. Yes, he has, on the left-hand side of his front wing. Has gone missing. And Liverpool fan in 14th position. He was one of those that started at the back of the field. And it looks as though that Swanshanks has also got involved in the melee on the exit of turn 2. Oh, someone's gone off. That's Tomo in the Prema, having his own melodies off track, and that'll be him ducking into the pits. He may decide to wait, you know, until the mandatory pit stop window is open. Well, Marcel's coming into the pits anyway, and Rosie has been penalised for ignoring the yellow flags, which is interesting. She'll be able to take that actually as next pit stop, but she stayed out. So Marcel coming into the pits. So a load of pit lane activity at the moment as we watch Bowie make his way into the pits for a new nose cone. Swanshanks also in need of some front remedy. So Green Pies is in the race lead with Dixon second. Pimis is in third in the second of the ART cars. There's Jay Hartnell in the HWO Race Lab in 4th place. Robin 5th for Campos, ahead of Mielios in the Carlin. Rosie in 7th for UNI Virtuosi. Argent 8th for High Tech. Vintage 9th in the Dams, and then Marcel the first of those has just come out of the pits in 10th position. Now Green Pies has got 105 points to his name, 5th in the championship. What can he do from here? And looking at the team's championship, UNI Virtuosi have a 44-point lead over High Tech, with Dams another 15 adrift. It's safe to say that will be one of those top 3 teams going for the title, because the next team down is Charouz, who are a total of 123 points off the lead coming into this round. So the safety car will remain out there for another lap, and I would think that the whole field is going to be bunched up together before the safety car, well, it's going to be bunched up by the end of the next lap, which will prompt the safety car to go back in. Tomo's been penalised for track limits as well. 3 seconds that will be for him. And Arjun coming into the pits, which is early. Now the problem is he won't be able to use this as his mandatory pit stop. He'll have to hope for another safety car later on. And there's Tomo, who's at the back of the field in 15th position. Wild Dog penalised as well for track limits. He's running in 11th position. I don't understand why drivers are getting time penalties whilst they're on the safety car conditions. They know they can't be overtaken by the car behind, so there's no need for them to be going up to full speed. And the drivers are coming towards turn 6 now. Melbourne, Australia. Now for this game, the configuration is not updated to the prospected layout, which Albert Park is going to have in time for next year's Australian Grand Prix. Sadly, it's not going to be hosting a Grand Prix this year. We'll just have to hope that it will be on the calendar next year, and I'm sure the fans will be eagerly anticipating a return to some Grand Prix racing at this wonderful racetrack. There's no confirmation of the safety car going in yet, but I think it will do soon. We're just waiting for the confirmation on the caption, or when the safety car's lights go off. You can see the Aston Martin safety car that's been added in via an update that we had on Monday. And there we go, confirmation that the safety car is ducking into the pits at the end of this lap. So Green Pies will back the field up. The safety car will peel in just before the last turn, and Green Pies will set off and protect his lead. He hasn't gone yet though. He's deciding to wait until the last moment before he does decide to play. In fact, he's waiting it very, very late actually. We're back on the way. Green Pies ahead with the two ARTs going into combat. And Dixon waiting behind in second place. Rides the curbs through turns 1 and 2. We see plenty of activity behind as Rosie dives to the inside there of Mielios. Can she make the move stick into turn 3? The answer is no. Robin dives to the outside though. The HWA of Hartnell to move up into 4th position. That's a nice move there from the Campos. Mielios still under pressure there from Rosie as the field go through turn 6 now. And watch for Arjun making his way through the field as well. He's actually going to be on fresher tyres than most of the field, but he will still need to be coming into the pits for his mandatory pit stop. The window is open now, so anyone can pit in. And Bowie's gone for a spin in the UNI Virtuosi. That's his second front wing damage of the race. And Robin's been penalised for track limits now as well, so that'll be him having 3 seconds added to his race time. No DRS for the first 2 laps of the restart. Can't think the front. Oh, Dixon makes a mistake. That is surely going to allow Pimis to close back in on him. And someone's gone off in sector 3. It's Arjun, I believe, who's had a moment. Has continued. And Bowie into the pits for a new front wing. The good news for him is that he's now got his pit stop, his mandatory pit stop out of the way now, so he may as well carry on. 15th place would get him the championship point. So Green Pies remaining in front. Dixon will still be back for more though. Now pit stop strategy is going to play a role in this. And now we watch Arjun and Wild Dog tussle over 13th position. They're going to go side by side here, look, through this kink before they get to turn 11. Arjun gets in front. Wild Dog doesn't give it up though. That was rather silly from Wild Dog, if I'm honest with you. Arjun had the inside line. Wild Dog just refused to back out of it. Dixon still within a second of Green Pies as they complete the 5th lap. I think Robbins just touched the pit wall actually, and Dixon posted a new fastest lap. There's Rosie making a move on Mielios to put her UNI Virtuosi up into 6th place. Should have just moved back onto the racing line, if I'm honest with you. Oh, Mielios has spun in the Carlin. He doesn't make contact with any of the other drivers. The car is ghosted. So Mielios dropping down to 14th place with that error. Now we watch the top 2 as they continue to pull away from Pimis. Robin is in 4th behind him. And now Rosie is not too far behind the HWA. And Hartnell goes for a spin. Does he make contact? Yes, he does. He tipped Rosie into a spin as well. I think that was rather accidental from Hartnell, but that is so unfortunate. And now one of the high-techs has gone into the wall. That's Arjun, I think it was. So Arjun's got front wing damage. So Hartnell and Rosie fall down the order, and they're going to need to come into the pits for repairs now. That moves Vintage up into 5th place. I just wonder if Hartnell's been penalised. No, he hasn't. But Green Pies is into the pits for his pit stop to go onto the medium compounds. So he's down to the 60 km/h speed limit. Wild Dog with another time penalty now. Tomo and Tomo and Arjun entering the pits for repairs, or for their mandatory pit stops anyway. Hartnell carries on by the looks of things, but surely he must have had damage to his front wing through the contact with Rosie. Dixon's into the lead now, and he's got a time penalty as well. 3 seconds it is. So Green Pies has exited the pit lane in 10th place now, and with a clear track ahead of him. So he can start to use these laps to close in on the ART and complete an undercut. So Rosie rejoins in 15th place on the Super Sauce. She's just got to hope for a safety car now, hasn't she? And just be informed by Jack Berry as well that his rear wing has taken some damage in the first lap mayhem. as Dixon enters the pits 1 lap later than Green Pies, which will allow Robin to take the lead of the race. Rosie's gone for another spin on the exit of turn 5. She'll need to get the car going again as Robin looks to fend off Pimis and get through into the lead on the track. We watch Green Pies come down the start-finish straight now. Dixon's just exiting the pits. Can Green Pies get in front? He's up to full speed at the moment. Dixon's not yet. Side by side they go then. Green Pies and Dixon, do they make contact? They do. Green Pies nearly losing it, but Dixon has completed an overcut on the dams to effectively retain his lead. Here's Pimis in second place, trying to keep up with the Campos ahead. These two will be ducking into the pits soon for the medium compound. They have to run both dry compounds in an F2 feature race. Now both make their way through turn 15. Robin runs wide at turn 14. Rosie's into the pits for UNI Virtuosi again. And this could well lead to a retirement, to be honest with you, unless she decides to carry on, go for a fastest lap. As Robin and Pimis enter the pits, as does Vintage and Swanshanks. Lovable Fun remains out there though on the mediums, so he'll have a chance to lead the race. Green Pies and Dixon go past the lapped UNI Virtuosi. Oh, Dixon spins into the barrier and he's lost his front wing. That's his chance of the race win gone now, and Green Pies is through into P1 effectively. So Dixon made a mistake, pushing too hard on the exit of 2 and lost the car completely. And continuing to get penalised as well now, so just adds insult to injury for Dixon. It's been a few rounds since we last saw him, and it's come crashing back down to earth for him here. So Green Pies with a comfortable margin now over Robin and Pimis, 8 seconds it is. And someone's gone off in sector 1. Oh, it's Wild Dog who's crashed out. And now we've got a safety car, so Wild Dog loses it, and Hartnell nearly running into the back of him. We've got a safety car now. And Liverpool fan will be delighted to see that, although he needs to come into the pits to get a set of the super soft tyres on. But this is almost a free pit stop for him. Well, Green Pie stays out. I wonder who's going to decide to duck into the pits and maybe put a set of the super soft compound on. Rosie's a lap down, so she won't be able to unlap herself because the leader will catch up to the safety car before her. So Dixon into the pits. Now the timing of Wild Dog's accident has played into his hands, because now he can go into a set of the super soft compounds. Marcel's got penalised as well for speeding in the pit lane. So Dixon rejoins in 12th place. So Green Pies leads behind the safety car with Pimis second. No, Robin second, I should say. Pimis third, Vintage fourth, Tomo's fifth. And it's Liverpool fan who is sixth after his pit stop. And then we've got Swanshanks, Argent, Mielios and Jay Hartnell in the top 10. So Rosie, behind the race leader. She's a lap down though. She may try and get ahead of him on the restart. She's actually on the better tyres than Green Pies is, so Rosie will have a tyre advantage. She's a quick driver in this as well, so Green Pies will have his work cut out, although he doesn't need to be fighting with Rosie. So the safety car will stay out there for one more lap. 14 cars remaining from the 16 of start. Oh, and there's damage. So is that Robin who's picked up damage? It is. So Robin, who's already pitted, has got front wing damage to his car. That'll most certainly lose him second place in this race now. So there'll be 6 laps to go once the safety car does come in. So Green Pie is looking to close in the championship battle. Arjun is in 6th place in the high-tech, as the safety car is going to be coming at the end of this lap. Now Green Pies will back the field up. Robin's going to struggle with the damage he's got to his front wing, so he can either try and get to the end of the race on that, or duck into the pits for a change of tyres. I think he'll try and stay out there for now, because he's in 2nd place and has track position behind Green Pies. Here we go then. Does Green Pies decide to go now? Rosie, well, that's the Campos ducking into the pits. Now Green Pies has not gone yet. We're back on the way here in Albert Park. Rosie lets the leaders go past. There's a 4 abreast actually on the pit straight further behind. So Pimis is in 2nd place, Liverpool Fan 3rd, Vintage 4th. And then we've got Swanshanks ahead of Melios, Hartnell and Arjun, who's down to 8th. As we watch Hartnell get back on the inside of Melios as they go into turn 3. No contact made through that. Arjun is behind this lot. Tomo also into the pits for a change of tyres. Robin rejoins in 12th. Hartnell continuing to lose positions at the moment. It looks like Rosie's gone for another spin in the UNI Virtual Race. That's her front wing completely gone. That may be enough to deploy the virtual safety. And Tomo is out of the race. He's retired on track, which is against the rules. So he may have the book thrown at him for that. And now we've got a safety car again. So I think with all that debris left over, this could change the complexion of the race, because Marcel's got penalised again for contact with Arjun under the safety car. So Green Pies decides to maintain track position for now. Pimis also staying out. But some drivers heading into the pits. Marcel is one of them. Jay Hartnell likewise. At least Robin can catch the back of the Crocodile now. And Bowy's in. Now this is a problem here because Rosie is holding up Jay Hartnell here because she's had to wait behind her teammate. Hartnell won't be too impressed with that, but at least he'll still be able to catch up to the back of the pack. So Rosie rejoins. Hartnell gets a penalty for contact with Marcel. So Rosie rejoins in 13th place, 13th and last position that is. And the driver with the fastest up of the race at the moment is Dixon, who's currently running in 7th. Oh, and Rosie's off once more. She's broken her front wing. I think this is going to be a retirement for her now. I don't understand why she keeps spinning there, if I'm honest with you. She knows she's under safety car conditions. Once we go past the start-finish line, there'll be 4 laps to go. So Green Pie still in the lead with Plymouth second, Liverpool fan ahead of Vintage. Hartnell is into the pits to take his 5-second penalty. So Hartnell rejoins as old medians, but he may decide to come back into the pits for the super softs. Now, if the safety car does decide to stay out for one more lap, then that may prompt Jay Hartman to go back into the pits to put a set of super softs on. It's been that sort of race, hasn't it? Here in the Formula Racing League. Now, the safety car is not coming in at the end of this lap. So, what will those behind decide to do? Now, Marcel, who's on old mediums, may as well just get a set of this super soft compound on in the Prema. Dixon with a 5-second time penalty now for ignoring a yellow flag. Marcel decides to remain out there. And Hartnell is coming into the pits. On go the super softs again. That's his 4th pit stop of the race. And the safety car, whatever happens, will be going back into the pits at the end of this lap. We'll have 2 laps of racing to the checkered flag. think Rosie's gone for a spin on the exit of turn 3. She has. So the safety car is definitely coming in at the end of this lap. So Green Pies will slow the field up. She'll go when... Sorry, Green Pies will go when he is ready to do so. So Green Pies just waiting until the last moment here, really, before he decides to get the hammer down. Someone's going to be a drag race to turn 1 here by the looks of things, but we're all back on the way now. Liverpool fan making a move on Pumis as they enter turn 1. Liverpool fan to the inside, and Liverpool fan gets past. So Liverpool fan up into second place already on the Super Softs. Can he go after the race win? There'll be no DRS for the remainder of this race now, as we've only got 2 laps remaining of this. Dixon up to 4th place as well in the ART. There's a bunching up going on further behind us. Plenty of cars going side by side with each other. Wolfan still in second place, but he loses it. He's hit the wall. Damage made. There's carnage behind. Green Pies has left the session as well, and plenty of other cars going into the barriers. One of the Primers has lost his front wing. Oh, there's plenty of cars falling off the racetrack. So Wolfan, who had a chance of going for the victory, is going to fall right out of the top 10. So Dixon's through into the lead on the road, with Green Pies second as we speak, but Dixon has got an 11-second time penalty. So it's damage limitation time for Dixon. Green Pies allows his teammate of Vintage to go through. Someone else in set 2, that'll be Rosie at the back. She's a lap down anyway on all these guys. So now Dixon will start the final lap of this race. Although Argent is in second place now on the road, he's also got a time penalty. So Vintage could all of a sudden take victory here. Marcel ducks into the pits for a new front wing. Gets caught speeding as well. So we're on the last lap of this now. And Rosie's off at the penultimate turn. As we watch Robin go to the outside. And he's going to take back what should be 5th place for him. Oh, he's pushed Pimis into the wall though. So Pimis has got damage to his ART on the left-hand side. Rosie's off at the last corner as well, so that just sums up her race. But at least she'll be having another go in the sprint. So here's Dixon. Coming through turns 11 and 12. Is there any action going on further behind? We've got Robin behind Melios in the fight for 4th place, both of which have got time penalties to their names. So they all go through there. And now we watch Dixon and Arjun come through. So Dixon, rounding the last couple of corners, he's got Arjun right behind him here. But Dixon will not keep the feature race victory here with his mammoth time penalty. Arjun shouldn't take the victory either. Dixon crosses the line and Arjun spins out! Arjun spins out! Dixon takes the checkered flag, but it's Vintage who's going to take the victory race victory. He wins here in Australia. In second place, it's going to be Jay Hardnell. Swanshank's 3rd. Bowie up to 4th. Mielios 5th. Pimis 6th. Dixon down to 7th. Green Pies is 8th and on reverse grid pole for the sprint race later on. Robin 9th. And Arjun will be 10th. Liverpool fan 11th. Marcel will be 12th. And Rosie will be 13th and a lap down. But Vintage, just look to see where he started. He started 10th on the grid. Has taken victory in the feature race here in Australia in the Formula Racing League. Very well done to him. Who'd have thought he'd be taking the checker flag in first position? And Jay Hartnell, who was at the back of the field pretty much at the beginning of that restart, has come home to finish second with the time penalties applied. Those last 2 laps were incredible, weren't they? Now Dixon's coming in saying that Argent overtook him, and then the game told Dixon to give the place back under the safety car, of which Dixon was ahead. So I think that will be something for him to discuss with the stewards after. But Vintage is on the podium with his winner's trophy for the feature race, and there's still 12 more laps of action to come in the sprint shortly. So the feature race results sees Vintage on the top step with Jay Hartnell in second place, Swanshank's third, ahead of Bowie in fourth place, Mielios is in fifth, ahead of Pimis and Dixon, Green Pies is eighth and on reverse grid pole, Robin is ninth, and Arjun ran out the top 10 after spinning out on the start-finish straight. Liverpool Fan is in 11th with Marcel 12th, Rosie a lap down in 13th place. Tomo, Wild Dog and Hungary were not classified as finishers. The fast lap points went to Dixon in 7th. Now, if he does get a 5-second time penalty removed, that would see Dixon in second place. But more on that in post-race scrutineering after all the races have been done tonight. The sprint race is still to come though, so we'll be back in a moment. Here we are then for the sprint. Who will lead the cars into turn 1? Well, it's expected to be Green Pies, since he finished 8th and is on reverse grid pole. We'll be hoping for better luck in this one. His internet has returned at the right time, although his connection had come, or his disconnection had come at the wrong time. And that cost him potentially a race victory. But we'll see how he gets on here. Now, considering that we've saw multiple pit stops, more than one pit stop for a lot of the drivers in the differing in tyre compounds for which these drivers are going to be starting the race on. I would expect them to still be on the mediums. It's just a matter of who's got more life left in the tyres than others. Time to have a look. All the drivers are starting on the mediums. So, all of which have got as much tyre life as each other, which is good news for the drivers. This is a sprint to the checkered flag. If we do get a safety car, though, that could maybe prompt drivers into the pits for another change of tyres, but we'll wait and see. Green Pies, though, is just desperate to get this race started. He's not even warming up the tyres as he makes his way round. I'm just looking to see if there's any drivers with their cars being controlled by the AI at the moment. Doesn't appear to be. Hungary will be so desperate to rebound from his retirement in race 1. Rosie's back in the action now. She should take control of that UNI Virtuosi car before the race does go lights out. The 40 points for Vintage has boosted his points total to 125. Green Pies and I think Green Pies are they're most in front of Winfield because Winfield is not racing tonight. That will help his championship cause by all means. Now, Arjun scored only 8 points from the feature race. Rosie picked up just the 4. So Arjun has extended his lead over her, with Vintage moving up to 3rd place in the championship now. Green Pies leads the field back onto the grid. Can Dixon get off to a good start here and lead the field into turn 1 without any drama? So 16 cars line up on the grid for the second and last time tonight. You ready for some action? You ready for some more action, I should say? We'll look no further than the 5 red lights appearing in front of the drivers for one last time tonight. Who will lead the field into turn 1? Lights out, and away we go for the sprint race. Green Pies' start is fine. Just looking to see how Dixon gets on. I don't think his start is too much better than the Dams. So they go side by side to turn 1. It looks like Dixon did cut the corner there to gain that position. So that'll be something for the stewards to look at. And they all make their way through turns 1 and 2 safely, unlike last time. Vintage has dropped down the field though from 8th to 14th position. And now the drivers make their way through turn 3. Is there any action going on further behind? We've just seen the high-tech of Arjun and Marcel in the Prema go side by side. Jay Hartnell losing ground there as they all make their way through turn 5. And Rosie seems to go off slowly on the exit of turn 1. Not sure what's going on with her at the moment. As we watch Arjun go side by side with Robin now as they go through turn 9. Contact made. Arjun loses it and he's lost ground. He loses position to the Premas. Marcel goes into the wall there for a moment. Vintage has gone round in the Dams. And now we watch the Premas go side by side. They continue to make contact, not leaving each other enough space. Tomo gets penalised for corner cutting. So that'll be him. That'll be 5 seconds. There's contact made. And front wing going off there. And plenty of cars dive bombing each other. And that'll be something for the stewards to look out for afterwards. We've got a virtual safety car. The Campos' front wing of Liverpool fan has gone missing. So that'll be him ducking into the pits shortly. And Dixon remains pies. Tomo has left the session now as well, but we hope to see him back in the action. As Hungry also ducks into the pits for a new front wing. Double fan as well. No, there's no mandatory pit stop in Formula 2 in the sprint race. So Hungary rejoins in 13th position. Rosie also in, and her connection is gone as well again. So Rosie not having a good time tonight. And Marcel's been penalised for speeding under the VSC. So that'll be 5 seconds added to his time. He's left the session as well, which is not good really. If you're going to quit like that, you should be retiring in the pits. And Dixon's picked up a time penalty for track limits already. And Rosie continuing to struggle in the UNI Virtuosi. I'm not sure what's happened there. She's just stopped. She doesn't get the car moving. She will be disqualified from the race. And she has been disqualified now. So Rosie's out of the sprint race. And someone else has gone into the wall. And Bowie's made a mistake there. And he's ducked into the pits. And there's more drama at turn 1. I think that's just Rosie retiring the car. So Marcel taking his drive-through penalty. So Dixon leads the race then ahead of Green Pies. Pim is third, Mielio's fourth, Swanshank's fifth, ahead of Robin, Argent, Jay Hartnell and Wild Dog. Hungary posting a new fastest up for the race so far. Nearly losing it coming out of turn 2. And Swanshanks moves in front of Mielio's to go up into 4th place. He's having a good night so far, is Swanshanks. Got the podium finish in the feature race earlier on. He's now targeting another podium here. Gets out on the curb. One of the dams has gone wide. It's Vintage. Continuing to have problems. Dixon posting a new fastest lap. Now here's Hungary. As we watch Mielio's fighting out with Swanshanks, and the Campos of Robin has got past him. Now Robin, will he dive to the inside into turn 3 on the Cheroos of Swanshanks? He can. Gets out on the curb though, and struggles to find a way through. So Hungary up into 10th place with Vintage pitting. Swanshanks holding off the Campos at the moment. As they go towards turn 11 now. Swanshanks gets a time penalty for that, and rightly so. He blatantly cut the corner to keep hold of that position. So Robin behind the Cheroos as they go on to the start-finish straight again. Rear wing open, and is this going to be a change of position here? Robin diving to the inside as they enter turn 1, and Robin gets past the Cheroos and up into 4th position. Swanshanks trying to fight back though around the outside, but the Campos has got it covered. And Argent going to the inside here of Swanshanks to put his high-tech up into 5th place, but he's been given a penalty there for track limits. And now we've got the Carlin of Mielio's making a move on the pair of them to go up into 5th place. So Mielio's fighting back at the moment here. Argent not having a good night so far. So approaching, well, started lap 6 now. Dixon still in front. Green Pies 2 seconds adrift, just under that. Argent back in front of Mielio's into 5th place now. He runs wide at turn 1 though. Mielio's can't quite take advantage, and so he stays behind. Oh, and that's the Cheroos in the wall. Swanshank's lost it. He's out. So Swanshanks loses it on the exit of turn 5. That's going to be enough to bring out the safety car. That's good news for those at the back of the field. But Swanshanks, who finished on the podium around about 15 minutes ago in the feature race, is not going to get to the end of this one. So he's out of it. Now, what will this mean for those at the front? Will any of them decide to go for the super soft compound? Now, Tomo is going to be coming in. Now, Dixon decides to stay out. And wisely so. Green Pies, does he decide to come in? No, he doesn't. Robin's got a drive-through penalty now for speeding under the safety car. So that'll be him going into the pits. Mielios decides to take a gamble. So Tommy rejoins the lap down in 15th place. This car is controlled by the AI. And Berry decides to take a gamble as well, putting the super soft compounder on. Now Wild Dog picks up a penalty for track limits as well. He's in 7th place, trying to remain in touch with the field. And Liverpool fan has been penalised for speeding in the pit lane. Needing a new front wing as well. And Hungary's left the session at the moment because he's just ripped off his front wing under the safety car. So that'll be him off into the pits for a new nose section. So Liverpool fan rejoins, and luckily remaining on the lead lap because the leader's just going through the last corner now. So I think we're going to be on the safety car for another couple of laps here as Robin comes into the pits for a change of tyres. Super Soft's going on the Campos, and he's out on his way. And there are mediums ready for him. I think that's just set by default actually with the AI controlling that. So here's Berry. He's on the mediums, but he may fancy going onto a set of the super softs. So the safety car will be staying out there for one more lap before this race does get back underway. Very deciding to stay out. And the Liverpool fan needs to get a move on here because this will be the last lap that the safety car will remain out there for before it comes back in. So we're on lap 9 out of 12 here. Dixon has a 3-second time penalty which will drop in behind Green Pies and Pimis. But we've seen what happened at the end of the feature race for the last 2 laps. How will the last 3 laps pan out here? Now, drivers with penalties at the moment, well, Robin's got a drive-through which he has to take within the next 3 laps once the safety car does go back in. Argent and Dixon, Berry and Hungary have 3-second time penalties. Liverpool fan has 5. Wild Dog has 6. And so the safety car is going to be coming in at the end of this lap. So Dixon will slow the field down. And this will be his chance to actually pull away. It's a good chance for Mielios actually, because he's going to be on better tyres than the front runners. He hasn't got a penalty to his name either, so that will be something to look out for in the remaining laps. So Dixon has decided to go now. We're back on the way here in Australia, with Dixon leading the field over the lines. We watched Arjun make a move on Pimis, who goes defensive on the high-tech as they make their way through turns 1 and 2. We're right on board with Arjun nearly losing it coming out of turn 2 there, but he's kept his car pointing in the right direction. As we watch Liverpool fan at the back, who will slowly make his way past Hungary and then others as well. And that's Mielios off the racetrack. Oh, that's a shame, because he was trying to pass Robin as well, who needs to come in for his drive-through. But Mielios has dropped down the order into 10th position of that contact. Robin trying to get through on Wild Dog as well. Nearly went spinning, but luckily kept his car pointing the right way. And now, as we watch the Campos make a move, he doesn't quite do it there. Berry's trying to get in on the act as well. Pimis and Arjun continuing to go into combat here. And Robbins picks up a time penalty for track limits as we watch Arjun go past the ART of Pimis. He dives to the inside into turn 13 of... Yeah, that's turn 13, and he goes up into 3rd position. But he has got a penalty hanging over him. Now, what does Robin decide to do here? Because the safety car won't come back out again now, whatever happens. He does not take his drive-through. He wants to try and bridge out as much of a gap as he can before he does have to take his drive-through. Now, he's already crossed the start-finish line twice, so this has got to be the lap where he comes in to take his drive-through. Otherwise, he will be disqualified from the race. Now, Liverpool fan. Does he get past Vintage here? No, he doesn't. He should be able to get through on him on the road. as he's on better tyres than he is. So Robin in 6th position. The gap between the leaders is 8 tenths. This would not be enough for Dixon to keep hold of the victory. He would drop to 2nd. And that's Berry behind Mielios at the moment, who's got past him. Dixon is about to start the final lap here. Gap is 1.2 seconds on screen. So Dixon starts the last lap then. As he continues to pull out a margin, Robin comes in to serve his drive-through penalty. I think Dixon posted a new fastest lap as well. He has done. So that will be another couple of points going to him. Unless someone can better that. And Mielios goes past his teammate. And Robin's out of the race. He stops in the pits. And that's Wild Dog has gone for a spin. So that's him falling out of the top 10 at the moment. Arjun's picked up another time penalty. So as it stands, he would drop 2 positions. So as it stands at the end of the race, it's going to be Green Pies, Dixon, Pimis, Jay Hartnell, and Arjun in those positions. So Dixon has bridged the gap to 1.3 seconds. The Green Pies is staying in touch. So Dixon will cross over the line first, but he will not keep the victory with the penalty he's got. It'll be Green Pies. He'll be taking the checker flag in the sprint race, as he did so in Monaco 7 days ago. Round in the last turn then, Dixon is going to cross over the line first, but it's Green Pies who takes the sprint race victory in Melbourne. So Green Pies wins. Dixon drops to 2nd place with Pimis 3rd. Jay Hartnell will be 4th. Arjun 5th. Mielios will be 6th. Vintage will be 7th ahead of Bowie. Littlevan is 9th. Wild Dog in 10th place with Hungary 11th and Marcel in 12th. Robin will be classified in 13th place and Tomo a lap down in 14th position. So that's 30 championship points from that race for Green Pies with the victory. Add into what he picked up in the feature race, we got 8th place, which gave him 12 points, which puts him on to 147, which would move him up to 3rd in the standings. But it's a victory for him here tonight to add to what he had in Monaco last week. So Green Pies wins the sprint race, headed Dixon in 2nd place, who also got the points for the fastest lap. Pimis was 3rd, headed Jay Hartnell. Arjun 5th, headed Mielios. Vintage 7th, Berry 8th, Liverpool Fan 9th, and Wild Dog ran out the top 10. Hungary was 11th, Marcel 12th. Robin, despite retiring in the pit, Tomo a couple of laps behind in 14th place. Swanshanks and Rosie were the non-finishers. So after tonight's events, just looking to see how that changes the championship standings. Well, Rosie didn't pick up too many points tonight, but Arjun has done. The feature race saw him pick up 8 points in that, and in the sprint race, in regards to what he would get for 5th place, he got 13. So that's 21 points to him. And so that moves his total on to 217 points, which means his lead over Rosie will be now 52 points going into the next round of the championship, which will be in Mexico City. Well, thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed that. It was quite a manic couple of races, wasn't they? Or weren't they, I should say. So I got muddled up on my words there. But do make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And we'll do it all over again in 7 days' time. 8:30 p.m. British Summer Time in Mexico City. I'm Tom Cairns. And I'll speak to you again soon when the Formula Racing League returns.